Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Hannah Season 1, Episode 1, Forest. So I decided to do like a rundown on the first episode first before I do that with the first season. Just to give you kind of like an idea of like what the world of Hannah was like in the first season and how it's dramatically different from that of the rundown third season that I did and that of the second season. Remember when I said that this show has more of an organic, like down to earth tone in season one? It really does. Because we're exploring the world of Hannah herself and not necessarily the world that she lives in. But we do get to know the world that she lives in through like her perception and stuff like that. We see her grow as a character and adapt. What's really interesting is that in season one, which I will get into more detail later, it's like I said before, Hannah in season one acts totally different than she does in season two and in season three. It's almost like the first season is like an anomaly all on its own and everything. And so like it is kind of odd. Like when you watch season one and see how she acts as opposed to season two. Yeah, she's quick thinking and adaptable, but it's just kind of like she adapted a little too fast. But then again, she's supposed to be this modified human being, which they kind of drop in the second season and stuff. Because like, you know, like I said before, they said like she's this like superhuman type person at birth. They give them the supplements and stuff, kind of like Dark Angel. But then it turns more into a film Nikita thing in season two. And the whole idea of them being super strong, super fast, and all this other stuff is like completely dropped by the second season. More is just like they're programmable, brainwashed, really like good at like athletic type stuff. Anyway, in episode one, it starts off with her father. He is Erik, and Erik is played by Joel Kinnaman. He is the dude from like the Suicide Squad movie. I think he plays like Rick Flag or something like that. And so like we see him working for this organization, the CIA. Now he's a foreigner. This is so funny because a lot of the CIA people who work here are like foreigners. I wonder is that like how it is in real life, I wonder. Who knows? Anyway, so we see him acting kind of suspicious and everything. And so next thing you know, he steals a person's uniform and their badge, and then he heads out to where the babies are, and he grabs Hannah. And he grabs her specifically because of one reason and one reason only. So as he's trying to like, you know, escape, some of the guards start to like figure out something's going on. So there's this huge battle, hand-to-hand combat between him and two guards, and my God, he just throws this one man in the incinerator and he burns. I'm like, holy crap. And so like that would really intrigue me and stuff like that. That, and it's just, even though this is a very down-to-earth organic type thing, because like, okay, take what is it, what's that thing called, Wheel of Time on Amazon or something like that. Like I watched the first half of the first episode. I was so bored. I haven't even like, you know, finished the rest of the first episode because it was just so dry and boring and stuff. Oh, speaking of this episode, it aired way before the season even started. They kind of wanted to test things out. I think they aired the first episode originally on the Super Bowl day. And then you had to wait until like, you know, the rest of the season dropped on in February of 2019. So anyway, so he gets away with Hannah, and there's a car waiting for him. It's a woman. This woman is Hannah's mother, the woman that he fell in love with. So they're driving, trying to get away as fast as they can. And in the helicopter pursuit, there's a woman after them. This woman is Marissa. She is played by Muriel Enzo. And so she has short choppy hair because this is 15 years ago. And so the helicopter's in like hot pursuit, and they're just driving like erratic and crazy as they can, right? And then so the helicopter's like shooting at them and everything. And sadly, it's able to hit the car big time. And when it hits the car, it hits Hannah's mother. So Joel is like really upset because he loves this woman, you know what I'm saying? Not Joel, I'm thinking of the real dude, Eric. I'm thinking of the real dude, Eric. Eric's like really upset, you know what I'm saying? He loves this woman. So up from the helicopter, Marissa's just looking at the car, and the car explodes from the gas leakage, and then the bullets and the fire and stuff like that. So it explodes big time, and she assumes that Erik, the baby, and the mother are all dead, burnt in the fire. But then we see a man running in the woods, in the snow, with a baby in his hand. Erik survived. So, of course, you know, they didn't want to show us him, like, escaping. And the helicopter didn't see, because it had to, like, turn around and everything. And so, like, they escape. And that's when he raises her for the next, and this is the part that gets confusing, the next 15 years. Hanna is 15 in season 1. Now, season 2 happens directly after season 1. Like, I mean directly. And then season 3 happens directly after season 2. Maybe about a day or so, a couple of days pass, but it's direct, right? Now, this is what doesn't make no sense. In the 3rd season, the chairman says that, you know, this is all because of one girl's fault, because Marissa let one girl escape, and then 20 years later, she came back to bite me in the butt. How could Hanna be 20 years old if she's only 15 in like, you know, season 1? I don't understand that. And oh yeah, like I said before, I will, in the rundown review, I will, like, you know, talk more in depth from like the movie, because this is based off a movie. It's not based off a novel or a book, which is very rare. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, then after that, we see, like, it's been 15 years later, and we see a girl. She's in the woods, and there's like a deer, and she runs up on the deer real fast with a gun, and she blows his brains out. And so as she's, like, you know, skinning it and everything, there's a man, a shaggy-haired man with a shaggy beard. Don't know who he is, because you can't really tell. He's wearing a beanie and a jacket, and they're out in the woods in the snow. So she's skinning it, and then she didn't realize that somebody's behind her. So the man attacks her, and they fight. And then, so you think he's gonna kill her, but then she gets the upper hand, and then she starts to, like, choke him out and everything. Then she lets him up, and everything's all good. It's Erik. He's now grown his hair out. Now they live in the woods, but they live in a cave, and it's very cave-manish, very mountain-manish. They have a little thing where they can cook food on, like a little, like, rack. A grill rack, you know. They have like wooden bowls, plastic bowls, metal spoons, and that's it. And just the clothes on their back. And he's been raising her there for the past 15 years. Now, he's a little disappointed in her because he said it took her way too long to figure out that he was behind her. She should have heard him a whole lot faster because of her enhanced hearing and stuff. And so, like, they get along really well and stuff. And it's just weird because it's just, like I said, it's a cave and some cooking utensils and the clothes off their back. A couple of weapons here and there, some candles, and that's it, you know. And it's like, man, she's lived like out in, like, in the boonies almost, you know what I'm saying? And, like, she knows nothing of the outside world. He will not let her go past a certain distance and stuff, because he's marked off some of the trees with red tape so that she won't pass those, and she's not supposed to. She knows absolutely nothing about the real world, not even people. And she asks him at times, you know, what is the real world like? But he won't tell her and stuff. So, like, being like, you know, well, she starts training, and when we see her punch, like, the tree, my God, man, she is good. Like, she's just punching the crap out of that tree. Now, this is what I'm thinking. Since she's 15 in this episode, might be reason to suspect that since they said 20 years in season 3, that 5 years passed between, like, first couple of minutes, we see her training, punching the, like, you know, the, tree and everything, and then to the rest of the stuff. But They never let nobody know. So you can assume, but we just don't know. You know what I'm saying? And even though the actress is an adult in real life, she looks very young, like a 15-year-old. And so, like, when she trains, it is intense. She has quick, wicked speed in her jabs and stuff. And so, being a typical teenage girl who is curious, she decides to break the rules. So she goes by the trees that are marked off the way she's not supposed to pass. She turns around. This is ingenious. She turns around and she starts walking backwards. And then as soon as she gets near the tree, she like turns around, grabs onto the tree, and starts like climbing up it with no tool. And you can hear her struggle. Like she had to use like a lot of strength and everything. This is only like a 90-pound girl, you know what I'm saying? And she's just able to like bear hug the tree and then just like scoop herself up. So then we don't see this part because it's too hard to choreograph, but she's pretty much bouncing from tree to tree, walking and jumping like a squirrel, you know what I'm saying? Until she gets to the other side. And then when she stops to the other side, she's just like looking around. And one great thing about her is that the actress who plays her, s1e1 Creed Mills, what's so great about her is that she has this look of innocence in her eyes. Like, even though she's 15, don't think of her as a 15-year-old teenager. Think of her as a 5-year-old child and everything when you watch this show. And so, like, well, at least in the first episode. And so her eyes are just so wide and constantly staring and looking. And she sees a young man. He's probably about 18, 19. And he's like, or maybe a little bit younger. And he's cutting down trees and stuff. And so she sneaks up behind him, and the way she stands is very creepy. It's very straight and stiff, and her hands are down by her side, and she's just like staring, and she just can't help but to stare. Now, she's not supposed to talk to nobody, but then, so when she goes up to him, he sees her, she spooks the crap out of him, and he starts asking her a bunch of questions, like, who are you, where are you from, and all this other stuff. And so, like, she won't say nothing, like nothing at all. And she just stares at, like, just staring with this this weird gaze and everything, because she's so fascinated, because this is the first person she's seen other than Eric. And she's very, very fascinated. And so, like, since she won't talk to him, he tries to like bribe her to talk with candy. So he has two, Twix and Snickers. So of course she goes for the good one, Snickers. And she eats it and everything. But she doesn't know like really how to do that. So he shows her like how to eat it. And cause like, and so she eats it, and then something else happens. I forget. He says something. Or he does something with his hand. He doesn't try to like touch her, nothing like that. But it's something he does because, oh, now I remember. He tries to shake her hand, and she doesn't know how to shake a person's hand. So she just grabs his like pointer finger and everything. So when he starts asking her like more and more questions, she gets nervous, and then she twists his hand as hard as she can. And he's in pain. He's all like, get away from me, you freak. And then so like, as he's about to hop back in his car and leave, and then she finally talks. She's all like, don't tell nobody you saw me and everything. And so like, she knows she's in trouble if she gets caught. So at this point in time, Erik is like looking for her and he can't find her, and he calls out for her and stuff. Anyway, later on that night, she shows back up, and she shows back up with like a rabbit. And he asks her straight, where have you been? She's all like, I've been hunting for a rabbit. He's all like, for that many hours? And then, so he knows she's lying. And then she says something smart mouth to him, and he slaps the taste out her mouth. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm just like, and she just takes it too. But then he feels sorry after he did that, because he's worried because he doesn't want her interacting with nobody. And then, so like, you know, they cook up like the rabbit, and then like they eat it and stuff like that. And I think she asked him something. I can't remember what, but he doesn't really want to tell her. And then he has a picture of her mother that he doesn't let her see. I think she does ask about like her mom or something like that. And so like, he's all like, I called out for you. And she's all like, well, I didn't hear you. Oh, that's when he slapped. That's what the smart thing is. Yeah, so like she's all like, I didn't hear you. He's all like, you can always hear me because she can hear from a mile away. And then she's all like, I didn't. And then so he slaps, like I said, he slapped the taste out of her mouth and stuff. And then I think she tells him something about, why is it that like you don't tell me none of your secrets, but I have to tell you all of mine and stuff. Now she speaks with a Romanian accent because that's where he got her from, Romania. I think I said Russia in my season 3 review. I always assumed Russia and Romania were the same as that thing. I really don't know. Like, I don't know nothing about that part of the world, so I'm very unfamiliar. But yeah, s1e1, even though she's British, she talks with a great Romanian accent. Not only that, but this actress, man, she doesn't have that many acting roles to her like her mother, Samantha Morton. But man, she had to do a lot of training for this show. She had to learn how to run really fast. She had to learn how to fight. She had to learn how to use guns. She had to learn how to speak with an accent. And then she had to learn how to speak all these different foreign languages and stuff. She did a lot for 3 seasons. This show has no awards to it, no nominations. It deserves it. This is a great spy show, like, trust me. And so, her being curious again, she goes back out looking for that boy. And she finds him, but he doesn't want nothing to do with her after she twisted his hand. And then so like now all of a sudden she speaks to him, and she's all like, but he doesn't want nothing to do with her. But then she's all like, do you have another candy bar? And so he decides, he takes it out of his pocket and he gives it to her. He kind of figured he'll see her again. And then, cause I think she asked, well, she didn't say candy bar. She asked, cause she doesn't know how to pronounce a Snickers bar. I think she called it Snickers or Sneaker or something like that. And then so he had to like correct her and stuff. Now the dude who plays him, I think he's the same guy from and with the E. I forget the name the person he plays, but he plays the person that Anne falls in love with. And so it was really cool to see him talk with a foreign accent too. Not really sure where this is filmed at, but it's funny how they have one Canadian actor and one British actress. I don't know where exactly they film at, but and a bunch of American people too. So maybe it is Canada. They just dress it to look like other places, you know. And so he starts asking her more questions, but now she's willing to actually answer. She tells him like her name. She tells him that she lives in the woods. She tells him that she lives with her father and everything. And he asks, what does your father do for work? And she's all like, he takes care of me. He's all like, no, I mean like a job and everything. And she won't answer that. But then like she asks him like, what's past this road? And he's all like, oh, that's where I live at, and like this like little cavern and stuff. And then she's all like, well, what's all around like all this other place? And as he's talking to her, he realizes things that she doesn't know anything. She doesn't know what the real world is like. She doesn't know what social media is like. She doesn't even know what texting is, the internet, TV, none of that stuff. And so he's all like, I got a place to show you. So he takes her on this giant satellite dish. And they just sit there looking at the stars. Because in her little cave, she makes little drawings of stars and stuff. Because I think she's not supposed to be out at night, but she probably caught like a glimpse of it and stuff. And so like, they're just there and they're hanging out and they're talking. And he's discovering more about her, but she's not telling him too much and everything. And so like, the problem with that is, he tripped an alarm system, like a silent alarm, when he opened up the thing. And she's all like, won't we get caught? And he's all like, oh, nobody never comes out here. This time they did for some reason. It alerts the police. And so like, they're there and they're talking. So then he tries to make the moves on her and everything. It was something happened. I think he's about to kiss her, or maybe he does, I don't know, on the lips. And she just kind of just like lays there, doesn't know like how to react, you know. So she's very stiff because she has no idea what's going on. And then they hear like dogs barking, so they climb down and the police show up. And his hands in the air, and so the camera turns to him, then turns back to her. She's gone. She's running back into the woods. And so when she gets back, Erik really wants to know where the world she's been at now, and she has no choice but to tell him the truth. She met a boy, You know, and he tells he asks her, like, did you tell him anything about us? She's like, no. She's lying. She told him pretty much everything. Like everything she's been taught for 15 years, she blows all in like one afternoon. And then I think she says like, he tried to kiss me. And Erik has like a worried look on his face. And he just plays the whole thing to dad like, he doesn't want nothing special, nothing like that. Like he's just looking for like one thing type of thing. And stuff. And then so it cuts from that until we see Marissa now. She is somewhere like in America, I think, or maybe someplace else, and she's walking side by side with a man and a little boy. And so like it's somebody she's with. And next thing you know, she sees somebody in the park. So she leaves him and goes to the park. It's one of her contact people from the CIA. And he lets her know that there was like, you know, a silent alarm tripped out in like the what is it, like the woods in some area, and I think in Romania. And so like she's all like, okay, and and he's all like, isn't that the location where Erik went missing and the child? She's like, well, she thinks they're dead, but then she's kind of like, well, you know, we better go like look and see into this, and maybe they're alive. So when Erik is with like, oh, now I remember, because the boy, he ratted Hanna out to the police and told them everything, what her name is, she lives in the woods with the man. So now Marissa knows that, okay, yeah, it's something they need to check into. So next thing you know, when Erik is with Hanna, he asked her straight up, you know, well, she asked him, we're gonna have to leave this place, and he's like, he don't think so. He don't think they'll be able to find them. Next thing you know, they hear like, well, she hears actually, she's all like, I hear stuff, like I hear people and helicopters. They're closing in. He can't hear it, but she has that super hearing. You know, that's so weird because they dropped all that crap in season 2. So they take off running and everything, so they won't have to get caught. And that's pretty much all of the episode of Forest in season 1, the first episode. It's down to earth, it's grounded, like it's just it's what keeps you interested in it is just Hanna. It's just like, because the actor does a good job and because she's so aloof to everything, you just kind of like, okay, where is this gonna go next? She's this heightened like assassin type person, and she doesn't know much of anything. And then so you kind of get so gripped into this, you need to like watch more to see like what's gonna happen, you know what I'm saying? Because you get so curious. And now you know that the military people in the CIA, that rogue operation, is like after them again. So I suggest really checking this show out because it's really good. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.